The next story is about a Twitter user that got the featured story. So Twitter has a lot of power. Millions upon tens of millions of people use it every day. They could shed light or talk about anything or, do anything they want. They have thousands of employees. It's not just like me. I gather all my stuff and try to do the best. They have tens of thousands of employees, billions of dollars. They have a huge responsibility and a huge power to feature stories. And 99% of their stories are not accurate. 99% of their stories are not honest. I debunked literally 2 of the biggest feature stories of the week on Twitter that were completely false and misleading. And they basically lie to people. They turn your kids and your girls into complete mush in the brain. I wish it wasn't true, but that's what's happening. And I think I found maybe the dumbest featured story of Twitter of all time, which is hard because they just lied about the Chipotle guy who literally was stealing stuff from restaurants, and they got the manager fired at Chipotle when she was doing her job stopping people who literally steal food. That was largely because of Twitter's featured news section. They helped propagate that story. They also lied about this guy screaming, "Hail Trump, Hail Hitler." I debunked it. They said, "Oh my God, it's so terrible." And then they never featured the correction, which said that it was actually an anti-Trump advocate who said that. So they spread the message to 100 million plus people probably that, Trump is Hitler and he's bringing in these types of people, even though it was an anti-Trump guy. I mean, this is what they do. But the dumbest story ever comes from, I'm sorry, Amber. We could have a discussion. You could be on my platform because I hate to really go this hard, but I have to tell the truth. Astronomer Amber on Twitter. So she had a tweet, and they featured this as a huge social justice wave. She said, "I take out both of my laptops at airport security." Random guy scoffs. "What do you need 2 laptops for?" "Well, one is for my astrophysics work, and one is for my artificial intelligence work. Hashtag priceless, hashtag women in STEM, hashtag women in tech, hashtag AI, hashtag girl boss." Now that seems pretty standard, right? She just said someone asked her at an airport security, "Why do you have 2 laptops?" And she said, "Well, one's for astrophysics, one's for artificial intelligence. Girl power." That's great. I'm like, man, that's a good story, right? You would think it's girl power. She's empowered, got 2 laptops, very successful, probably wealthy, whatever. So she continues down this whole spiral, and this is what was featured. This is like a pro-woman story. They turned it into this anti-gender bias feminist thing because she continues on and she says, no, the guy talked to me in a patronizing voice. He asked me twice, believing I owe him an explanation. She then went on and said, "What saddens me is nobody on Reddit is commenting on the fact that this guy didn't deserve an answer." So he asked twice because she didn't answer him the first time, and he doesn't deserve an answer. How dare him ask again? She then blames gender bias. She said the reason she's sharing this experience is because it's important things to keep in mind to solve the problem of women in tech. So what started as an empowering woman movement ended in this ridiculous thing that they're saying because a guy asked her why she had 2 laptops, that this is showing the gender bias in women in tech and that it's showing sexism in the workplace. And this is what Twitter featured the story as. They're like, sexist against women in tech. And I was like, so I read it. I had to respond to this woman. I said, first of all, if you have 2 laptops, you're not oppressed, okay? My grandfather came to this country, worked in a factory, and used to make his underwear out of potato sacks. Literally, we hear old stories about how in Italy, they had to make underwear out of potato sacks. So that's oppression, not affording clothing and having to make your clothing out of sacks of potatoes. What is not oppression? 2018, fast forward, a woman probably making a 6-figure salary with 2 laptops, okay? I own or work for my own media stuff. I don't even own 1 laptop, okay? I could probably afford one, but I choose not to because I don't have all that money to spend. And right now, a laptop's not a priority, although it would help. So I tried to explain to her. I was like, listen, you're very lucky and fortunate to have 2 laptops. And I'm not disrespecting. It's like, dude, most people in America don't even have 1 laptop. It's a computer. Yeah, people have phones on lease and stuff, but it's a $2,000, computer system, and you have 2. And then I explained, I'm like, listen, her thing was in San Francisco. She was like, I was like, your city is literally under like hazardous smoke right now. I mean, you looked on the AirGov channel, and San Francisco and LA had like critical, moderate to like hazardous and dangerous air. I was freaking out the last 2 days because everyone's walking around smoking cigarettes on their Instagram, like, ooh, like that. I'm like, dude, are you guys checking out the air? The air quality is really bad. I'm reading articles about how 5 days of really bad air is equivalent to smoking 1 cigarette a day for a year. And people in San Francisco, they're not even warning their own people. I'm not saying it's her job, but it shows me a lot about liberal Los Angeles, San Francisco, and LA. I mean, all they do is talk about Trump. You have the biggest poverty problem, the biggest homeless problem. The schooling system's terrible. You have piss, shit, and urine all over the streets, literally needles everywhere, literally everywhere. And then they're like, oh, the big story is, it's like, no, warn your citizens if you actually care about them. Stop talking about Trump and tell them, to put on a gas mask for a few days or get an air purifier. I didn't even go out 2 days ago because I'm not breathing in that air. You heard my throat was sore. I wasn't even smoking. It was literally because I'm breathing this like hazardous air. Nobody realizes. It sounded like I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes just from breathing the air in Los Angeles. And that wasn't even half as bad as San Francisco. So I'm saying all this stuff and people are like, dude, you proved her point, man. I own 2 laptops. It's not that crazy to own 2 laptops. I was like, I'm not saying, I got in a whole argument on the thread, but I was like, I'm not saying it's rare to own 2 laptops, maybe for you, but like on a world scale, billions of people don't have clean air or water. So if you own 2 laptops and someone asks you if you have 2 laptops, you're not oppressed because someone asked you why you have 2 laptops. And the fact that people don't even understand that, the fact that they like can't process that, they're like, well, I have 2 laptops, so how dare someone ask a girl why they own 2 laptops? I mean, I don't have 2 laptops. I've never in my life had 2 laptops. I probably never will have 2 laptops. Millions of people in this country don't have 2 laptops. If you do, that's fine. But you notice also, she says, he looked at me weird like I owed him an explanation. Could you imagine? I'm just like a normal person. Could you imagine someone asking you a question, looking over at them, and then not answering? And then them asking you again, and you answering them, and then running to Twitter and telling your followers, how dare he ask me a second time? He didn't even deserve an answer. Do you know anyone that does that? I'm just curious. I don't know a single person. If somebody asks me a question at an airport, and then look away, like you're not even a human at that point. Like you can't answer a question. It's not like they're hassling you for cigarettes or like trying to bum a lighter off you or something. He asked you why you had 2 laptops. I mean, you could answer quickly, but like, she's like, how dare him ask me twice? Anyway, I just can't. It's just so sad how ridiculous the society and the media is becoming. Like, I'm going to do a whole video on it, but I was talking to someone recently, and they have a class in college, and the class is called, it's teaching kids that men nowadays have more pressure now than ever to be a man. So basically, it's a soy boy, beta, girly, like make guys into girls, girls into guys, and no disrespect to transgenders, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not you. You do what you want to do, but it's like, it's okay to be straight. It's okay to be a man. I don't know. It's okay to be trans if you want to be, sure. It's okay to be a girl. It's okay to be a mom. Like, it's okay to be black. It's okay. It's okay to be white. Oh, don't say, it's like, it's okay to be a man. It's okay to teach your kid to be a man. You probably should. It's not a bad thing. Like, you don't have to rebel against that just because you want to do the other thing. You're free to do that. And in this class, it literally said, I can't exactly read what someone was saying, but in this class, it's teaching them that men nowadays have more pressure than ever to be like a patriarchal man. That's not even true. So this whole class, these kids are paying tens of thousands of dollars to go to a class who's lying to them. You could debate whether you want to be a man or you want to be a not man or whatever. I don't care. But it's just false that it's the hardest time to, it's like they're putting the most pressure on guys. It's the opposite. This is the least pressure ever being put on men to be men. So it's just not true. I don't care if you agree or disagree with the that hypothesis or whatever, but it's completely false. I mean, you're talking about the 50s and 60s and 70s and 40s and 30s. That's when people were pressured to be men. Nowadays, you could paint your hair purple, you could cut off, all your genitals and walk around, and you literally get celebrated for a month. They take a whole month to choose one of the 7 deadly sins to be proud for a month just because you cut your genitals off and dyed your hair pink. I don't care who does that. It doesn't bother me. I'm not hating on it, but it's like, this is the easiest time to be a feminine man. This is the easiest time to be gay. This is the easiest time to be trans. And this is the least pressured time for guys to be patriarchal and male. I feel 0% pressure to be a patriarchal male. The whole world is coming down on me, telling me to be gay and trans. And the second that I just want to be like a normal guy, everybody calls me like a racist, sexist, xenophobic, white supremacist. I mean, there's a group called the Proud Boys. I don't follow them. I'm not justifying everything they do. Honestly, I have no idea what they do, but I know their slogan or mission statement, according to, certain things that I've seen, is like, we're proud boys. Like, we're proud to be a man. I'm not part of them. I'm not responsible for all the dumb things that people in that group do. But literally, they get called white, racist, sexist, xenophobic, white supremacists, and like attacked and kicked out of bars simply for stating that they want to be like normal, like strong. Oh, I'm an angry old guy or whatever. Like, that's their whole vibe, and they can't even exist. So it's the exact opposite. But this is crazy. Like, they're teaching this to kids in school. You're paying tens of thousands of dollars to go to school, and they're telling you this is the hardest time to be a man because society's harder now on men, telling them to be men more now than ever. That's 100% provable and visible falsity. You're lying to the kids in school. Why are you lying? You could say it's good to be gay. You could see it's better to be a trans than a straight person. That's your opinion. I don't know that I think that that's true, but you could say that. But what you can't say is that it's the hardest time for men, forcing men to be men. It's just not even remotely true. And they're like, I'm like trying to tell the person this, like, do you notice that you're getting brainwashed and this is completely false and fictional? I've read my brother's syllabus. I've read other people's syllabus in journalist school. They're literally lying, feeding people the opposite of society, and then everyone wonders why the suicide rates are so high and everybody's depressed and can't do anything for themselves. It's because they're teaching the lie everywhere. It's just like this. If you own 2 laptops, you're in the upper echelon. Owning 2 laptops, you're probably in the 0.000000001% of spoiled, privileged, rotten, selfish, narcissistic, and totally self-centered human beings to ever walk the face of the planet. In the 60s, they made their underwear out of potato sacks, and you think being oppressed means making a 6-figure salary, living in San Francisco while there's piss, shit, and urine on the streets from heroin addict and some homeless veterans, people who can't afford jobs because it's $3,000 rent to live in the city, and you think you're oppressed because you have 2 laptops. I mean, it's just mind-boggling insanity that I really can't take anymore. I'm not going to cry about it or run around and scream in the streets and protest. I'm going to live my life, enjoy it, and, remain as chill as I possibly can, but it's driving me out of control. I'm not out of control. I want to use better wording because I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm probably not going to care about this in 5 minutes. How long are they going to lie to people? How long are they going to push story? I own 2 laptops. Good for you. You're very successful, rich, or fortunate to work for a company that provides you a $2,000 machine. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't own a single laptop, and a lot of people don't. Some people own 1, some people own 2, but it's not oppression if you own 2. And just because someone asked and you stared at them like a zombie and they asked you again, doesn't mean you're being oppressed. It means they're curious why you have 2 laptops. Some guys are stupid, honestly. Lots of guys are stupid. I could attest to, I'm one of them. So it's like sometimes guys are trying to flirt. Sometimes they're trying to make conversation. Sometimes they're just stupid. I don't know. People deal with stupid people all the time. I don't think every time I deal with a stupid person or a mean person, oh my God, I'm being oppressed because they hate me. I just know that's how a lot of people act. So it's like the whole world doesn't revolve around me and my gender. Ooh, she was mean to me because I was a boy today. Like, boy, man, boy, this is hard being a boy. Like, I don't think like that. And thinking like that actually makes you that way, and it attracts that energy. And then you live this like completely false reality where you're the victim making $200,000 a year, owning 2 laptops, living in a city where the homelessness is ridiculously out of control and pissing shit all over the streets, but you're the victim in your loft with the 2 laptops because someone asked you why you had 2 laptops. And the saddest part about this is not that someone said it. I believe in the free speech. I believe in the right to have a self-centered, narcissistic opinion about yourself and the world. I love it. I don't love it, but it's cool. It's not cool, but it's there at bare minimum. Not only was that said, it was featured in Twitter, propagating to hundreds of millions of people, including a lot of impressionable kids and teenagers who use the site, and 50, 60, 70-year-olds who yell at Obama and Trump all day on both sides. They propagate this, and then I'm like trying to explain to people, I'm like, you realize like billions of people don't have like access to clean sanitation, and your city is like under hazardous smoke air right now, and like people are, you know, shitting and pissing on the streets, and like, you know, you have 2 laptops. The amount of people that were mad that I mentioned that and were like, dude, you're proving your point. You're sexist. Like, I have 2 laptops and I'm a guy. I'm not saying that only girls have 2 laptops. I'm saying that you're spoiled and privileged, and it's okay that you're in the 0.05% of the world who has more than $100 a day in their bank account or $1,000 a day. Like, people are not this wealthy everywhere. Go to the Philippines, go to Vietnam, go to China and see how they treat their workers. Go to South America, go to Mexico, go to Honduras. You'll find millions of people who are trying to come to the United States because we have access to an economy and opportunities and companies that will give you 2 laptops unlike anywhere else in the world. I'm not saying there's not good things in other places, but like, this is a very special place. We are in one of the most privileged countries, in one of the most privileged eras, in the most like privileged time to ever be alive. Everyone, not a specific race or religion or gender. And you're squandering it by supporting the people who are bringing in a culture that is literally going to ruin all of the stuff we have going. And then you're like so self-centered that you're like, how dare a male ask me why I have 2 laptops? It's just the most, and the fact that so many people are like, dude, what are you talking about, man? I have 2 laptops too. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have $100,000 in your bank account. You have 2 laptops. You have a $3,000 apartment that you sit on Twitter and complain about how oppressed you are and how horrible the world is coming down on you because you feel bad because Twitter told you to be a weirdo. It's just insane. I wanted to share that because it was really bothering me a little bit. And it's just like, I don't know when they're going to stop. I'm going to do a whole education video. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I'm going to make a compilation video. And it's either going to make you laugh, cry, sick to your stomach. Like, maybe you don't care. You probably shouldn't because it's not probably going to get much better. And people are going to continue to be weirdos. And we shouldn't focus on the bad. I agree with that. But it's like, what really bothers me about this, before I move on, I can live through it. I can maybe be successful and, you know, make a living for myself. Help my family, hopefully, if I continuously do better. But, like, there's... Just like with the female genital mutilation case, these are babies. These are kids that they don't have that decision. And they're being misled by lunatic people who think that that's okay. And I'm not trying to judge or go into all of that, but that's the thing. When it comes to school, people go to high school and college. They go to learn and get a higher education. They don't go to get a lower education, learn and get brainwashed, and come out and not know how to function in society because they were lied to. So what really bothers me about stuff like this is companies like Twitter and Snapchat and Google and all of these companies, they're making a mistake repeatedly that will ruin the lives of like hundreds of millions of people. It's not like, oh, they made a mistake and, you know, misled 100 people or had a bad day and like, you know, got mad at somebody or did something. It's like hundreds of millions of people are literally going to suffer because these people are lying on every single level. And it's not just that they're lying, they're intolerant to a different, honest perspective. Like, it's like we own 95% of everything and we're brainwashing all the kids and we're literally ruining their lives and teaching them complete falsities and telling them that they're victims with $500,000 in the bank account and 2 laptops. And if you dare just say like, hey, maybe you should be grateful. I don't know, like my grandparents worked in factories, you know, had potato sack underwear, like, you know, there was real oppression in the 60s and 70s, like, and it's only gotten better, and like, you know, half the world doesn't have what we have, so we should be grateful. It's not just that they can exist, 95% of stuff, and I could just sit there with the 5% decision that's much more honest and grateful and tell them they want to ruin my life. They want to ruin anybody's life like myself. They say, no, I'm a good person, you're bad. I have social justice, you're a Nazi. I'm great. But it's really the opposite. They're actually racist, sexist, and xenophobic. They can't even tell a story or walk into a room without seeing the race of somebody. It's like a white liberal, not to make this racial, but just to make a joke if I can. I don't know if comedy's still allowed. It's like white liberal will walk into a room and they'll see a black woman and they'll be like, I love your hair. Where did you get the hair? And she's like, I'm black. Like, what do you mean? Like, I see it all the time. It's like the most, they just see race. And I'm not saying you can't compliment someone's hair, but it's like, they're like, I walked into the room. This was a video I saw. And there were not enough color in here. It's like, is that what you think about when you walk into a room? Like, there's not enough color in here? I don't, it's like, that's your first thought about the company? Like, why don't you try to figure out if the company's running smoothly? I don't care if the room's filled with all white people or all black people or all Hispanics. Doesn't really matter. Like, that's not what matters. The content of people's character matters. My friends are, successful pro athletes. I went to a birthday party. I was the only white person there and no one mentioned it. I didn't think a thing of it. I wasn't like, oh my God, this is such a multicultural environment. They were my friends. They're human beings and they're all black. That's totally fine. And no one cared because they're normal, good people, just like most people are. The fact that these people, they call everyone else racist. They call everyone else sexist. They call everyone else xenophobic, but they are the most racist, sexist, xenophobic, and anti-justice people on the planet. Because they can't even properly assess the situation without seeing color. They don't care about the content of your character. They don't care about who you are. They don't care that that guy was a criminal that was stealing from Chipotle. All they cared about was his color. Even though she was Hispanic, she wasn't black enough. He was blacker and she was light-skinned Hispanic. So she got fired for doing her job and he got praise for being a criminal just because he was black. It's like, I don't care if it goes black or white. If you're white and you're stealing food, don't do it. Like, I don't have this huge compassion for white people and I hate all other, like, I don't care really about, I'm not saying I don't care, but like white people who make mistakes, I'm not like, oh, white people are perfect. No, they do commit crimes. They, do weirdo stuff all the time and we should hold them accountable. I'm not picking sides, but this is the world that they live in. They don't care about justice. They don't care about rationality. They don't care about content of character. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about who you are. They don't care about what you can do for the company. They don't care about any of that. They prioritize race. They prioritize gender. And they hate Christians. They hate anybody who's conservative. And they love Islam. And I don't care. Personally, I love Muslims. I love Christians. I love Jews. I love atheists. I love everyone equally. I don't hate certain people and love, but the fact that they hate their own people, yet they love other cults, I'm just confused. Why? And it's not like that lines up and no dish, but it's not feminist. A feminist wouldn't last a second in an Islamic country. It's just a fact. I mean, it's just so strange to me. And they think that they own everything good and that they're fighting against bad. Really bothers me, but I'm going to keep trudging on and do my thing. The last story of the day, thank you.